Alright, welcome back. This is part 3 of my Metroidvania tutorial thing. In this one, this should be really quick. But I just want to talk about doors. Let's just talk about doors, man. So I actually made this quote-unquote level. I'm gonna upload it, and I'll put the link in the description if for whatever reason you want to actually go through and look at these. But just for examples of components that can go into progressions. I just wanted a bunch of doors, a bunch of barriers, and the items that get through them. Which, I mean, these are really all things that people know, but I feel like it's nice to have it just consolidated, and it's not a comprehensive list by any means. But, you know, very basic. And, of course, as well, this is also from the standpoint of Super Mario World. I could do another one of these for, like, 3 and New Super Mario Bros., but I'll just leave it at this for now. So you can get through this, right? P-switch, bomb, basically anything that destroys it, anything that turns it into coins, and just the ability to spin will allow you to go down. Here's the same thing, except now you can't have a thwomp, but you can use a shell to get through, right? Switch it to hard blocks. I'm just looking at destroying it. Flip them vertically, and you can use the helmet to get through. Right, just minor changes to things, but it's good to keep in mind, right? You never know who it's going to help. This is like the weeding business system of clown car shooting through plugged hole to break shit. And I really wish I could give credit to who I actually took this idea from, because I have used this door in particular a lot. So much, and I actually saw it it was an underwater like amusement park level that I played, and I was like, oh man, that's fucking sweet. And I cannot for the life of me find the level again. So I really wish I could give credit to them, but it's such a clean contraption. Here you can throw the shell down the hole or just run through with a star to trigger. That's a note block in case it's not clear, with a bomb in it that would come out and blow open the passage. This a bit almost puzzly, but letting something walk through to do the same effect, because if you throw a shell down here, it's going to go back and forth. Probably not something I'd really use, but if you're leaning for more of a puzzle aspect to your Metroidvania, this could be neat. This could be neat. Yoshi moving sideways springs, of course, is a thing. And I guess you could also use capes in that category. This is just having a movable object put a muncher up into a bomb and open a thing. It's a very powerful tool. It's just get to a location and another location opens up. It's quite good because it means you don't have to worry about the player carrying items places. You don't have to worry about the player getting hit and losing power-ups. You probably don't want to do too much of this because a big part of a Metroidvania is that you get new stuff. You get new powers, new tools. So like when you give the player a POW or when you give the player a fire flower or something, it changes how they can play every other aspect. It doesn't just unlock the one door. It changes everything about what they can do in the level, but still, this is a very powerful, subtle kind of tool. Just get to point A and it opens point B. Very nice. Splash in a bit of that. This one's kind of interesting. I think mostly if you want to have the player, like, let's say a player comes in from this area, but you don't want them to leave until later. You want to lock them in a part of the level for whatever reason. You could do a construction like this using either of these to drop from obviously much higher above. Since this particular layout doesn't work too well, I'm pretty sure you can just jump up on that pipe, right? Yeah, that's nailed it. But yeah, dropping a thing down to get back into the pipe is pretty nice. This one is just raising a vine through the floor to get higher and somewhere you've already been. Is a very simple, powerful tool. I don't know why I keep saying powerful. Everything's powerful. This one's very powerful as well. Very subtle. It can't really be overstated how useful a one-way backtracking point can be. Say this is somewhere you've already been and you've done things down in this area, and it can be very nice just to give the player a nice little boop. It's convenient for the player, and also it helps unify things. It helps you're trying to develop a sense that the level is one big cohesive structure. It's one flowing layout, and little backtracking points like that I think really helps sell it. Here's a clean little one-use P-switch gate. A lot of the other things are once you use them, they're done, right? You're destroying blocks or killing enemies or something. But here, even just walking too far away from the muncher will reset this. If for some reason you want to have a thing reset. I think in general you mostly want things to be done and then stay done, because it makes it easier for the player to explore more and not have to redo steps. But that can be nice. Here we just have a bunch of key collection things. Throw a thing into a key. Nailed it. Shoot this dude. It drops the muncher on the thing. Get the key. Boom. Eat a key. This one's a little wonky. You put the helmet on and you bop the wiggler onto the note block to get the key out. It's a little bit puzzly. That one again. Again, you don't want to be too crazy with puzzle aspects, but you can dash them in. Or maybe you do want to be crazy. Maybe you want to be the puzzle Metroidvania guy. Go for it. That's a niche to feel right there. Right there. This one's really cool. This is a directional P-switch. So if you are coming from this way, the P-switch will not activate. Okay? But if you're coming from this way, the P-switch will activate. And so you can actually... obviously, you would want to do something other than a flat surface here, but in the scope of a level you work this in, you can actually test for which direction in the level the player is coming from for having the P-switch trigger. And it's actually very simple to set up. You just have it to where the thing... It takes a little trial and error. This isn't the only way to set it up. But you just want something to block the muncher. This spawns first. And the track is actually... a little shorter. I don't know if that's actually important that track be shorter. It comes down more to which one spawns first. But if they spawn at the same time, it would default to this not triggering. But this would fall on the lip and it blocks the muncher from dropping. If this goes first, it beats that there. And this little gate is to keep the muncher from ending up over here, which otherwise would. So it just neatly falls in. So that's pretty cool. You can test for directionality, which could be a powerful tool to have in your little toolkit there. Here we're back to the basics. You place a POW down to go into stuff. It's actually kind of amazing how often people miss this. I assumed this was just a given, but after doing it many times, I'm almost inclined to put this a bit into the puzzly, slightly puzzly category as well. Because for whatever reason, a lot of people seem to miss that they can just stand on a POW to get into stuff. And of course, you can throw a POW at a muncher. That's what POWs are for. This is an extension of that, but you can have it open something distant. This could be an arbitrarily tall cannon, right? And so you kill the muncher, and then it opens up something much higher up. We can have combined item things. Item juggling is not something players love very much, but it can make for some interesting gameplay. I mean, it's a form of interesting gameplay. Obviously, it's not for everybody. I kind of like item juggling, as long as it's not too obnoxious. I mean, you can really go overboard with it, but for short distances without too many like crazy platforming elements or enemies or anything. Item juggling can be fun. So here we would need both the POW and the P-switch to get through this door. Here we would need either a cloud to just go in the pipe, or you could put a spring down and put a POW on it to go in. We have munchers. You can just kill them with stars and POWs. If they're size accessible, you could also just damage boost. You can have them blocking pipes or just blocking holes. Put them in the ceiling. Now they're killable with helmets. Similar situation with wigglers, except you can actually throw the spring up and kind of bounce them out of the hole. Shoot a bomb with a fire thing. Kills a bomb, blows it up, blow them bricks up. Shoot dudes. Shoot a dude, thing falls. Not all of these are super revolutionary. Some of them are basically the same thing again. Here you need a POW and a fire flower to get through. Nice compact. This is actually nice because it's not even item juggling, it's item combination, but they just have to carry the POW. I've never actually used this one in a level, but that's, now that I look at it, that's actually kind of a nice little gate. That one's neat. Fire flower plus elevation to you need to elevate yourself to kill this, which will drop the muncher to kill the lower one and actually allow you to get through. These are really cool. These are really cool. They're basically, the idea is you complete the bridge, and this has become kind of notation for hidden blocks, like unhidden hidden blocks. It's kind of like a Kaizo community innovation that's come up recently, and I think it's really cool. You just put tracks around your hidden blocks so people know they're there. But the idea is if you're going along the top, you can't continue. It's just a little too far to go, and if you fall on the blocks, you just kind of die. Assuming you're Small Mario, right? This is all assuming you're Small Mario. You can't jump out without dying. So there's no way to just go. You have to actually come to whatever this lower area is and activate the hidden blocks to complete the bridge. And these turn blocks are there to actually prevent you from just walking through, falling down, and completing the bridge and going back around. You actually have to get here legitimately the first time to do it. This is the same thing, except you require the step of helmet. This one's the same thing, except you require an item, either throwing a shell up or jumping on a spring to do it. And lastly, we have this convoluted thing. If you want something really puzzly for a door, you could, just to show how far we can push the concept, you can require an item, a Yoshi, a sideways spring, and a shell. You put the sideways spring here. So if you throw the shell in either of these directions, it'll end up here. You can try it, trust me. It'll end up right down here if you throw it in either of these directions. But if you use the Yoshi to put a sideways spring here, and then throw the shell down this way, it will instead activate this, let the bomb out, blow this up, and complete the passage. This is far more elaborate than anything I'd ever used, but it just goes to show how convoluted item gates could be. Hypothetically, how they could be that convoluted. But mostly you want to stick to stuff on the left side of the screen, I think. Well, the hidden block stuff's not too bad. But yeah, hopefully you got some ideas out of that, maybe. Like I said, this will be up if you want to look through for whatever reason. There's way more setups for these barriers than I could possibly list. Even if I use the subworld, there's just way too many, and I haven't touched on any of the stuff. And like Super Mario Bros. 3, you can use like your tail to lift springs and all kinds of stuff. Boots, you could have a whole section on boot doors, like a whole screen just full of boot uses. New Super Mario Bros. Has its own shit with, like, you know, you had the wall jumping functionality and the propeller hat and all that. But for the basics, just some ideas. If you're having, I don't think most people would have difficulties coming up with the progressions, but if you find yourself stumped, you're like, I want to do a thing, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You could just be like, just list items. Be like, all right, fire flower, pow, P-switch, feather, whatever. And then just, you know, look through and see what's applicable and do that. You know? It's already there for you. So, I don't know. Maybe that's helpful, maybe it's not. In the next episode, we're going to stop fucking talking about progressions and talk about something else. So look forward to that. And thank you.